Hey everybody, what's up and welcome to another segment of Blind Date. On today's show, I'm talking with Nitsan Rozenberg. He is the founder of And More Studio based here in Tel Aviv, Israel. And it's a very interesting story that he got because 2.5 years ago, he started two businesses at the same time. Started the design agency and started the chapter of Off Festival, the huge global festival here in Tel Aviv. Started them both 2.5 years ago. And they've both been tremendously successful. And in this talk, I want to understand how he did it and what he did before starting that to acquire the right skills to make sure that when he does that, he's going to be successful. Really interesting conversation. Stay tuned. What's up, Nitsan? Hey. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for inviting me to this beautiful office.
Thank you.
It's been a long time coming, our conversation. I'm really excited about this because you've built an amazing kind of studio agency in under 3 years, almost?
2.5,
2.5. And how many people are working here?
10.
10 people.
We're 10 currently. Still looking for a couple of more. It's really hard. I think it's one of the most difficult things in having a studio.
Hiring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe especially here in Israel in this situation that...
Okay.
But yeah, it's one of the hardest things.
Okay, I have so many things I want to talk to you and we'll get to hiring as well. But I think that one of the things that I love about your studio is that you're kind of like what I call full stack. You do all kinds of services, like from branding, digital experiences, so UX and UI and videos. And I love that. And so I think that we have kind of shared kind of philosophy about what design services should be like. But I want to hear about how you came to open this. I think that because I know your story just a little bit, but I want you to share it just so people can understand. I think that by the time that you decided to start the studio, you had kind of like relevant experiences, or you came prepared, because like I think like an amazing studio like this with 10 people working for you in 2.5 years, that's incredible. So I want to dive into how you learned all those skills. What was the journey like, and how did you do that? Because I'm sure there's a lot that I can learn from you. So can you share the story of how you got into design up until the point where you decided you want to start this studio?
Yeah. Well, where to begin from? At first, I thought I would study industrial design. And then
industrial design?
Yeah, and I did
like what, to design chairs and stuff like that?
Yeah, okay. The interaction with things, to design things for people. That's what made me interested. And then I did some, this course in 6B studio to prepare my portfolio. And then
this is kind of like, for people who don't know, because they're not in Israel, this is kind of like prep school that you go and do this course that prepares you so that you can get accepted into a good design school.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for me, I think there's another aspect for this to test the field that you're going to study before you begin.
Okay, so that was kind of a pilot. Am I actually interested in that?
Yeah.
How long was that course? Like?
It's summer thing, a couple of weeks. I don't know.
Okay.
Something really short. And there I got exposed to many things, and I discovered the graphic design and applied to some schools, and I chose to...
Before that, you had no kind of like a hobby as a kid, like play with Photoshop, do this visual, I don't know. Because a lot of people come from that background.
Yeah, I had, but
it's not like you grew up knowing that you want to be a designer, a graphic designer.
Looking back at what I did, and maybe I can connect the dots, because I really like to play with strategic games.
Okay.
That's UX.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how I think. I need more tanks. Okay, this is UX. This is the how, and I relate to the work that I do as a manager of studio, as designing the schedule and everything. You know, you find you define the problem and then you solve it.
Right.
You do it, and every day you do it in everything.
Everything is design.
Everything is design. Right. Is solving problems.
Right.
So that's what I do with the schedule, with the clients, with projects, with everything. And the first the exercise for the brain was these games. I think strategy, and always keep the parameters high and be the optimal thing. You know, when you're playing games, you usually do the stage again and again.
Right. Do you talk about video games and stuff like
Whatever.
that? Okay.
Any game. Usually you just do the game again, even if it's soccer. You play it again to make the higher score, right?
Yeah, to improve.
Then you find the techniques. What makes you...
Okay.
It's pure practice.
Right.
So there I practice my brain, I think, in thinking about what works best and how to decide things. And... Then I went to HIT in Holon.
That's a design school?
Design school.
It's actually one of the good design schools in Israel, right? Why did you thought that it was important to go to school? Or did you know that, like, I want to go to school no matter what?
No, just no, I didn't thought much about it. Just,
okay. It was just like the thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the stage.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we need to study something.
Okay.
So I studied motion broadcast design.
Okay.
Motion
was
design.
that like a specific vertical in the HIT course?
In that time we had in the school like print and
it's a major like
digital, which was like primer. The years that everyone said UX UI,
right?
Stuff.
Okay.
And broadcast, and
today, broadcast is motion.
Broadcast is motion design,
right.
And today I think schools tend to mix everything together.
Yeah, they don't do this major anymore.
Yeah, what I think people designers do these days, and also. Our studio works like that way.
But you decided that you want to major kind of like you had intuition for motion design.
Yeah,
because
it was really
it's weird
funny.
because now you're doing mainly product design or UX and UI, or you still do motion design a lot.
We do everything together.
Okay, but that was like your main interest.
30% of each.
Okay.
This was the major, and this was the base of my education as a designer.
Okay.
Which is a great base, because it's one of the complex design disciplines. Because
to make videos or to tell stories with.
To tell a story, you create a world. You need a lot of imagination to tell a story. And even when you do concept arts about the language of the movie, you need to create it from scratch.
Right.
Things that today, when you do apps and people get free ready icons and they stick to a known UI language, it doesn't exist in our days. Designers. Mm-hmm. And broadcast designers know how to create something and think, have a vision, and of course have the time aspect, which is really difficult. If you give a regular designer to do a movie, it will be really difficult for him.
Right, because you think most designers don't understand the timeline issue. Time.
Yeah. You in a movie, it's really a complex product.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you had to see that every frame in the movie is like a poster, and the time is you have so many aspects to watch for, and then when you get to other products, it's much more easy. You have all the skills.
Okay.
So
you got out of school as kind of, you thought of yourself as a motion designer, or you didn't?
Yeah, I taught myself After Effects in YouTube and tutorials, and I started to work at the second grade in the summer,
Like on your second year of school, you started freelancing?
Yeah.
How did you get clients?
I got, I worked, I don't remember actually, but I met some people.
What was it? Like, think about that. What was your
more or
first
less,
client?
I got to work in the Channel 2 News in the summer, like a student position. And from there on,
So that was your first job? One of the major Israeli TV channels?
Yeah.
Like during summer break, you applied. It was like a full-time job, full-time summer job.
I think I knew someone that said that they need someone, and I knew After Effects pretty well, and I did some projects with also. You
all right.
Collect project by project, and then you have a dignified portfolio to present, and then it's much more easy.
Got it. So trying to think, what was your first freelance project or client? Can you remember?
No. Wow. No, I can't remember.
Okay. Okay, so you started working and freelancing while you were in school. And when you finished, what happened when you finished?
I started working Prometheus, which is one of the best post offices in Israel.
Okay, so they only do video or post-production?
They do broadcast design, they do openers for TV shows and packages for the satellite TV and sport channels and everything. And I got a lot of my education about design and about the culture of design from this place.
What do you mean by... What did you learn in terms of design?
In design, well, the first place that you work at, it's really the real education. I mean, the school is just
it's true.
bringing into the world, but
right.
Really start.
I also remember on my first job, I learned like in 3 months more than I learned in 4 years.
Yeah.
So what can you remember some of the things that you were like, oh my God, why did they tell me this in school?
Yeah, well, I see it with designers that come to the studio right now. It's how to work technically and how to think and how to manage your time and a lot of aspects that you think it's really hard. I could say that it's really the education in the design schools are not relevant. But if you ask me what to do, I can think of something, but I don't know if it's the right answer, because it's really hard to do that. But in the current situation, I think that if someone with good basis can come here without going to school, he will be a better designer in 6 months.
So you think like if you have good intuitions, if you learn the basic like with YouTube tutorials or whatever, you can apply to a job, and school is not really super necessary.
Yeah, I think you as well know people like good designers that didn't go to.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, I'm just asking.
It's possible. It's really into the person.
Right.
You need to have a lot of.
Okay, so what was the next step after Prometheus? So over there, you were a motion designer. What was the role called?
Yeah,
motion designer.
Yeah, motion designer and After Effects artist.
All right.
So it's like together, and maybe it's one of the bases that I got to this conclusion, because there, not as other places, they had this position that designers did also animation. In other places at that time, you had animator and a designer.
Okay.
And again, I really like this approach, and you can
the
take
approach that everybody does everything, or that
it was two. At least it was two positions combined together. But the understanding is that you need to know how to animate when you design for animation, and if you do the animation, you will do the design better. And you could take it for a designer that know code.
Right.
Okay.
If you know how to code, you know how it will be implemented, you'll do better design. Yeah.
So designer that knows some code, or a designer that know some of the motion aspects, so they can design maybe not do the animation in the application or the product, but you need to combine all the skills.
Right. And I think in general, again, as I call this full stack design, but I think that if you know business, if you understand business, you'll do a better design. I think that if you can write, you'll do better design. And every skill that you have, if you know marketing, you'll do better design. So yeah, I totally agree with that. So that's where you first saw that somebody can do multiple roles and you like that? Or
Yeah, and I think that I took some of this concept. And also the culture of a team that shares everything together, and the good atmosphere there, not competitive. And
I'm not sure if I remember, but I had a friend, I don't remember if he worked in Paul Mateos or it was someone else, but I think that he told me that it was really intense in terms of you worked late every night and that kind of stuff. It wasn't that? Maybe it's a different place.
No. This is also, you got to, we were finishing at 5:30, I think, and that's it.
So it was, yeah.
And if I stayed or came early, it was because I wanted to.
That's so different. My first job after school was I worked in Open. It's a branding agency. And there you used to stay up late every night. So that was the culture that I saw at the agencies, and I was like, this is I can't do this. But you saw a good example or an example that you liked. Okay.
Yeah, I think when we come to work, we need to work, have fun, but be serious. And we need to work to get out on time. Okay, we need to make it, plan our day and make it productive. And we need to go out and at daylight.
How did you know that it was time to move on?
I know it was around 3 years, and I had an offer from a startup company, and maybe the benefits and everything led me to thought that maybe I need to move on, and more or less.
Okay, so you moved into a startup position, and that was again as a motion designer, or over there it was not like UX design over there, or
no.
It was also motion design.
Yeah, only motion design yet.
What was your experience like in a startup?
I was there like half a year. Eventually, if I look at it back, I didn't like the fact that it's not a creative company. In Prometheus, everything was... another thing maybe about Prometheus, and coming back to it, they were responsible for everything from the script to the tape. It's another concept that maybe I took with me, to try to be responsible for everything. When we treat companies, we want to do everything for them.
Okay.
Even if it's a PDF or something really light, or a sticker for the car and everything, we want to be responsible.
Yeah.
So maybe
for the whole experience, the whole brand. Okay. But actually, what you say is, like, from my experience, when you work in an agency, for example, in Prometheus, you are only responsible for the video. It's true that from start to finish on the video, but you're not affecting the brand or the product. And when you're working in-house, for example, in a startup, you can affect everything, the video and the brand and the product and everything. So in that sense, you get even more responsibility, no?
When you work in a startup?
Yeah.
But I don't know if you have the skills to do everything.
Okay.
Because it's a really challenging to know how to... in the studio, we know how to do illustration really good, and 3D, and motion, and digital products, and branding, and everything. We're expertise in everything. This is how we see it.
Okay.
Without any...
Do you bring a specialist for... Wait, we'll get to your agency a little bit later. I want to understand how you got there before. Like, what were the experience and skills that you got to lead you to where you are right now, that you have this understanding as to how to structure an agency correctly? So, you said that I know that you didn't like working at a startup.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share why or?
When you work in a creative place, okay, which is, for example, a studio or agency, everything, all the people, all the mode is for the creative process. And in a technological company, it's not always like this.
Yeah.
And at that time, my experience in this place was like this.
So you wanted to go back into a creative company?
So yeah, again, it was like I got an offer.
Okay.
It was always like that, I guess. I got an offer to have to manage designers.
Okay.
To go to this channel, and I think one of the
in what company?
In a studio.
Okay.
Okay. They brought me to design the team of designers in the studio, to manage the studio. And
did you had any management experience at that point, or?
No, but I knew I wanted to.
Okay.
I got to understanding that
Yeah.
I don't want to be, I won't be a designer at the age of 40, 50.
Okay.
And people around the young designers will know how to manage the programs better than me. Okay.
Yeah.
I got a clear understanding that I won't be a designer forever. And what makes me interested is to go to manage design. Okay.
Was that because you were?
So I just had this opportunity to do that.
Wait, okay. I want to unpack that because I think it's interesting. Were you like, look, I'm getting older and all these young kids are gonna master those software. I better become a manager or I get kicked out at some point.
Yeah,
or was
maybe.
it because? So was that that kind of thinking, or was that like, no, I wanna lead? I don't know. Like, what?
It was all together. It's just I knew I want one design forever, and it's
and they
such an
initially
amazing...
just offered you up. We were like, we're looking for a design manager, or
Yeah.
we're looking for somebody to build a team.
To lead a team, yeah.
Yeah. Can you do that?
Yeah.
And you said yes, even though you didn't have any
because
experience.
that was the next step that I wanted.
All right. But so how did you know how to do that?
Based on my experience.
Did you ever hired somebody before, or?
No. There were designers there, and from when I got there, I needed to treat the place, the design studio. I treated the way that we work with files and everything. I treated the...
Were there any other design managers over there that you can learn from, or?
There?
Yeah. Did anybody help you out? Because I think like being thrown out into being a manager.
No, I what I learned from my managers in the past.
Right. Yeah.
Which is basically from Prometheus.
Right.
I
Okay.
guess.
So you had a role model of what do you think is a good manager, and you tried to act that way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And in Clutch Studio, I was responsible for the team, and I got there. I laid the base for what I am today.
Right.
Because I got the experience to manage people, manage team, and manage how the place looks, and manage the projects, and talk with the clients and lead them, and everything you need.
Yeah.
Looking back, I had everything I need except for the bills thing.
Yeah, except for finance.
Yeah.
So you did not manage finance over there, like proposals?
No, it wasn't my place.
Right.
We had
Okay.
the owners, and I just managed the design team and everything. And
but you've built so by this point you had skills for management. You've had experience working and seeing culture. Mm-hmm. So at what point did you understand that maybe you want to do your own thing? Or
no, I didn't say that at all.
You didn't.
Never.
You never understood that.
No.
It's not like you had a vision. I'm going to start my own studio.
No.
Okay.
No, don't do that.
Okay.
It's insane. No.
What? Starting a studio is insane.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. And that's
what
why
I said. Why do you need this fast? Why do you need this?
So why do you need this?
I don't know. It just happened, actually.
Okay, so let's get to that. You were working in
so
Clutch
I worked
Studio?
there like 2 years,
Right.
and I just decided after 2 years that I want something else, and did a break, and I was like practically at home half a year.
All right. Unemployed,
Yeah.
funemployed.
Yeah.
What's it called? Okay.
Yeah, I think everyone had to do it to get some break.
Okay.
But I would say like a fisherman that goes to a vacation and finds himself in the lake. I found myself in my living room with two freelancers, okay, working on my project because I got projects and I couldn't handle them. So I took a freelance to handle some projects together.
Okay.
So you could say I was starting a studio.
Right.
Okay. And so it happens naturally.
But I heard you say that at some point you were like something bad happened with the project and they were like, why the hell do I need this?
Yeah,
I don't want to do
I got to the
it.
point that the project got to...
That was still in your living room?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I said, okay, why do I need this? I don't need this.
What happened? Can you share what happened?
What happens in every project, they get to a point that things not really goes really smooth.
That happens in every project?
Yeah, I think.
Okay. So what was
not
special?
every. You need to be prepared for this.
What was special about that case, though?
No, nothing special. But the thing that I was alone. I wasn't part of a studio.
Okay.
Okay. I was alone, and it happened to me as in every project.
But this time it was your responsibility.
Yeah, and I chose to do it. When you work in a company, that's your job.
Okay.
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 And when you do your stuff, you get up every morning. You need to choose it again.
Yeah.
So.
But what happened? Share what happened. Like, what was frustrating in that point?
The sketches that we did didn't got approved and got complicated. So nothing really that special.
Okay.
So I said to myself, why do I need it? And I got to continue to look for the next step. I got interviewed in some places to be art director and manager.
So you wanted to go back into being an employee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
did you conclude that project though? Did you deliver that project?
Yeah, it was,
okay.
Yeah, they came out really nice.
Okay, but you were, hell, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's what my thought at that time, and I continued my investigation in the fields of gaming and startups to manage design teams, and then in that period I set myself a goal to meet people for no reason. I really like to do it nowadays, just to meet people with no reason, and I just met people. And that time,
what was your? First of all, I love doing that as well. But what was your approach to doing that? Were you like emailing people, "Hey, I don't know you, but let's get coffee"?
No,
like, how do you?
I know you. Let's meet.
What do you mean? Give
people that I knew, and I just from the past, from that I said let's get to meet and meet. I did it with Larry, okay?
Yeah.
And I started off.
So tell that story.
Yeah,
tell that story.
That's one of the meetings.
Who is Larry? Okay.
So I just.
She's another designer.
She's another designer. We met in another project that I had, the designing the protest of social protest in Israel. And we just met for a coffee and we talked about situation. We felt like we'd want to do something, and we came up with this idea to do something to raise the level of the design here and show the world the Israeli designers. And so we approached off Tel Aviv.
Yeah. Okay. This is by the way, this is an incredible story. You brought Off Tel Aviv, the huge festival from Barcelona, to Tel Aviv. We'll talk about that because it's a huge success as well. But I wanna go back, like continue the narrative. So you started meeting up a lot of people. Liri was just one of them. Mm-hmm. But how did that lead you to opening up the studio?
So I met a couple of business people, okay, that I knew that had this floor, and they suggested that we'll open up a studio together. They'll bring the clients, and I will manage all the professional side.
Who were they? Like, what do you mean business people?
I knew from volunteering in some projects, so I knew them.
Okay, wait. In this conversation, already 2 times you've mentioned that you volunteered and then you met people. You met Leary that way, and you met those business
Yeah.
people that way.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Where did you volunteer?
I volunteered in designing a cooperative in Tel Aviv. So I designed all the
What is that?
branding.
What is?
They have a store, a grocery store.
Okay, so the cooperative is a communal grocery store, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I designed all the branding and all the products, and
It's
the
also
yellow.
yellow. Yeah. I remember I saw this. Yeah, cool.
So I helped them out in the first couple of years, and there I met some people, and they offered me.
Why did you volunteer there?
Because I really appreciate. I know that design is a power tool, and when I believe in something, I offer this power tool to boost it up. So I believed in the concept of this cooperative, and I say, okay, let's boost it up. Let's put design. This is the same thing that I did with the social protest.
Right.
Okay, I saw all the mess on Rothschild Boulevard, all the colors and everything.
This is, by the way, for people who don't know the context, like a few years ago, I don't remember how many years, it was like a global phenomenon where there was like the 1% or the Wall Street, and it also happened in Israel. And you volunteered to kind of help create the whole graphic design system for that protest, for that social movement.
I don't know if it was an initiative.
Right.
I didn't. First, I walked around and I said, well, no one knows that there's a protest on Saturday. Why aren't they communicating anything? And all the mess here, you had a lot of colors there. And so I tried to ask something, listen, I want to do a poster, listen. And they just, okay, do whatever you want. This was the atmosphere, okay?
Right.
And I just did, okay? So we did. I did a couple or three posters, and I collected what was existing there, which was the yellow, and I designed some. I chose a font, and I designed the language that is really well known by now. And I started just to share it on Facebook, okay? Just share it alone, and it caught up really fast. And people shared it, and from there on, I got to do the poster for each Saturday. We had each Saturday protest.
Right.
So each time I did another poster, and then I I had more requests from other tents around Israel. And they wanted this sign, and I wanted this, and I got this mail, and we got a website, and I collected more designers that volunteer in this team, and we called it Design by the People, something like that, because I didn't want to put any credit on this. So we got a lot of requests, and I designed this mail that was like you have tasks, okay? And each designer in the team could enter the mail and just collect the task and do it and mark it.
Kind of like open source design mechanism.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, and we had a brief in Dropbox. You could enter and brief yourself with the language and everything, and do the task, and we managed it.
Okay, so you volunteered at the cooperative thing where you met your business partners. Mm-hmm. You volunteered at the social protest. You met Leary, who became your partner in bringing off to Israel. Did you volunteer any other place and met like?
I could say off festival.
Where did where did you meet your wife? Your wife is also a designer? Yeah. Where did you meet her?
In school.
In school.
Design school.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's go back. So you met those business people, and they were like, let's start a studio. Mm-hmm. We'll bring in, what do you mean they had a floor?
They have like a shared space that like we work.
Okay. They had a free space?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we want to start the business, and I took this offer. I said, okay, let's give it a couple of months. Let's give it a go.
Did you had to invest any money in it?
No.
Okay. Why would you say yes to this after your experience with freelancing in your living room and saying, why the hell do I need this?
I don't know. I don't know.
So you just said yes, like randomly? You didn't?
Yeah, it's hard to remember the thoughts or the mindset that you had in a certain point.
Okay.
But I
it's
said,
not...
let's give it a go.
Okay, let's give it a go.
And I guess it was what they give me is the confidence to do that.
Right.
Okay.
Why is that different?
They didn't do it with another person.
But
although after a week I told them I want to do it alone.
Wait, we'll talk about that in a second. But why is that different? Like, you started freelancing in your living room. Why is that different than starting like a studio with, like, why did that need confidence to start a studio, but you don't need confidence to start freelancing? From my perspective, like, freelancing is starting a business. It's just the same thing. Why do you see this differently?
Freelancing is something that I did all the time.
Okay, so you did not consider this like a business?
Yeah, I always did motion projects and branding projects. The field, there's this creature which called designer has a soul, and you have to fill it.
Okay.
And I have all these gaps of motion branding and everything. Okay, the gaps in its soul. And when I did some kind of projects, I felt I discovered that I took freelance projects of things that I was missing.
Okay.
So when
to develop skills, you mean, or just to fill your interests, or
fill my interest.
Okay. So why did it not work out with those business partners?
We started to do to set up this thing, and I'm very organized and I have my own way to do it in the serious way and everything, and something that felt really not the way I want. And I said, if I'm doing this risk and I'm giving it a go, I want to do it my way. And without any partners.
How did they react to that?
Not that well.
They were like, did you still end up using their space?
Yeah, I rented the place. It's not that they gave me. I rented the place, and it was like, they were like, okay, we're gonna set up another studio.
So we're gonna be your competition.
Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't do that, of course.
Did you had any kind of a legal contract with them or anything like that?
It was just in the beginning, so
okay.
No, not actually.
Did you? I really want to dive into the nitty gritty of running a studio. So I hope you don't mind. But did you initially start a company, or
no.
do you know what I mean? Like registered a company? No. Like you did not do that?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think there any need. We did it just a year or so ago.
Okay. So you rented the space.
Yeah.
Why did you not do that from your living room again?
I didn't have this confidence, sometimes you need the reason.
Okay. Were you not afraid, like, I'm investing money here, what if I don't have clients? What if I... Was it not a risk?
Thing. They give me the confidence to bring the box with the computer from home to the office.
So you already made the step.
Yeah.
You were like committed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I started.
Okay, got it.
So I was like, that's what my wife also told me. Just give it a go. Okay, put a period of time or amount of money that you invested it, and you can always go back to be...
Did you do that? Did you set kind of like a deadline? What was...
Not actually.
Okay.
There was no need. I think, no need at all.
Did you hire people right away, or did you work by yourself to begin with?
Yeah, I hired someone. It was a really bad experience.
A designer, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I got to the project, and then I hired the first designer.
So the first hire was not good. Did you fire them?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah.
Did you? Sorry that I'm again going right into the nitty gritty. Did you actually literally hire them for a full-time position with a contract, or was it like freelancing type of thing?
Yeah.
So you hired them.
Yeah, I was starting a studio. I was
Okay.
clear that it wasn't something that in between.
Okay.
I wanted to do a studio, and until today, I want the designers to be in the same place. I don't really like to work remote. I don't believe in it.
Okay.
I believe in that, and I say to myself, I created the workspace that I want for myself.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the way it looks, the way it works, the people that are in this place, and the works that we do, and everything, I just create around myself the workspace that I imagine that should be.
How did you understand that the first hire was not a good fit?
No, it wasn't.
Not naming any names.
It
I
wasn't
don't
a
even know.
professional thing, but was. We worked with the client, and the client he went to work at the client offices, and the client says that he went to breaks and he didn't he wasn't on time when he was supposed to, and he sent me something else, and the client didn't want to work, of course, because he said it takes too many breaks, and he is late, and he whatever.
So you were sending the designer to work in-house for a client?
Yeah.
Do you still do that?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. No, I know today. I know our DNA much more, and I'm not much more confident in things like that. But I really believe in the team, and sometimes when the company asks us to send a designer to work, meetings and everything is fine, but to work in the offices, we're a studio. There are different brains here. We work together. Even if the one designer is working for the project, it's more than that.
You mentioned before that you had an experience managing designers on your last full-time position, but that you did not have any experience managing the finance because, they had a manager. What was that experience like when you set up your own studio, like dealing now with...
Strategy game.
What did that mean?
You need to know where you invest, where you put.
But how did you know how much to charge? How did you know, like, did you start looking at the finance? Like, okay, if I pay for the office this much and I pay the designer this much, how much do I need to earn? Like, how did you...
Yeah, and you have this Excel table that you see how much expenses you have and how many effort you need to cover that, and you had some predictions for the next month, and I don't think it's something that complicated. It's common sense.
So you never kind of like studied like how to manage maybe, I don't know, finance or whatever?
No.
I see. Like I've had some conversation with studio owners, like even really big and successful studio owners, and what they told me was that like when it comes to like cash flow and predicting into the future, they could never, even though they were doing it for years, they could never see more than, I don't know, like 12 weeks into the future. Like we don't know like if we're going to have clients, no clients. So
it's true.
That's your experience.
Every month is a new month.
Okay.
But in the last a year and a half, we're not looking for jobs, for projects at all.
Okay.
We don't go out. I have a studio manager that is working here.
But you're still, that being said, you're not looking for clients. Everything is good. But you still say every month is a new month. I can't predict 6 months in the future because I don't know.
No, I don't have contracts for years, so it's not guaranteed. But I know that the clients that we have will continue, and I know that new clients will come. You assume, same as you go on the road and you're driving in a fog, and you assume that the road continues, although you don't know that, right?
Okay.
So you assume.
So let's go back to when you got started. How did you get your first clients? Like,
I remember, yeah, it was kind of difficult at the beginning. I had to just take a notebook and, okay, who I know, who I can meet, who I can call, just spread the rumor that I have this studio. You need to decide it.
Who did you know and who did you contact?
And no, nothing special. But anyone that worked in some place that might know of a certain project or something, that you need people to know that you have this business,
right?
And then they can direct you.
So how does that look like in real life? Is that like sending emails, doing phone calls, just posting on Facebook? What does that actually look like?
All the above.
All the above?
Yeah.
Because I try to imagine, like, I'm just asking because it feels uncomfortable to me. Like, hey, what's up, dude? Do you know I have a new studio?
Yeah.
Do you have some work for me?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff?
Well, yeah, if you know someone that knows that needs maybe, so...
Hustling, actually.
Yeah.
Did that work?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I guess. Looking back, it's much more easy. But yeah, eventually, yeah.
Were there any specific times during the last 2.5 years where it was scary in terms of, okay, we don't have a project. I don't know how am I going to keep paying those people.
No, it wasn't. No, but you get to a point that we needed to get needed to do this action of, okay, we need to bring projects in.
Yeah.
But we did it as well. You take a notebook and you think how to solve this problem. Who do you approach? Where are you going to find projects?
What did you find worked well for you?
Just doing a good job. That is what works best. And
yeah, but this is not something actively that you can do if you don't have a client next month. I'll do a good work for this month. For my current client does not guarantee that I'll have somebody else.
Yeah, but it's a matter of investment. You keep the high level of what you do, and when there's no job, you don't lose your mind. Okay.
Did you keep kind of like money in the bank for like when you don't have clients, like that you knew, okay, if I don't have clients next month or something, I'm going to be able to sustain like a month, or did you had anything like that?
Yeah, I was prepared, but I don't think we had any months without plus in the income.
Okay.
During all these years, so you just.
It sounds too good to be true. It's like
no, you need to have. You need to know. I see a lot of people that open businesses, and it's not that easy.
I know from my experience, a lot of my friends started studios and they had to shut down, and not shut down, but what happened was that once you start hiring and growing, it's like what's called like feeding the monster. I have people that I need to pay for, so I need to bring in clients to support them. So even if this client is not really a good fit, or if it's not amazing, I'll just do it because I need the money to pay the rent. Do you find that happens to you as well?
No, we're at the point that we choose the right and interesting, and my job for now is to give the interesting projects for the designers to bring in, and we do it quite successfully. But the compromising maybe in the first year maybe is the scale of the projects. Okay, so we get to do a branding project in 30 hours. Okay, and we worked with the entrepreneurs and startups for really quick and not high budget projects. But now we're like stretching it much more. The project are deeper and longer, and this is something that will continue.
So did you on purpose change the type of clients that you work with from
It happens gradually. But we really
So it happened naturally. It's not like you've made a strategic decision. I'm going to work with clients, bigger clients that have more money, that want to do deeper project. Does that just happen,
This is the general process.
Okay.
Of course, as designers, we want to do longer processes and with a lot of budget to do things, not budget to. Yeah. to hang in the pool. Budget, I mean to do stuff much more accurately and put some animations in it. This is my goal. I want to raise more hours and more effort in the project so we can do it more in higher quality.
And now you work with like really big clients. Like I think I remember Wix or Mobileye or some big companies.
And Toyota.
And Toyota.
Toran. Yeah.
How do you work with them? Like they just came to you because they saw your work, or because that's very different from like working with startups, right? Am I right to assume that?
Yeah. When you work with we work because we have this holistic approach of design. So if we're talking back to raising clients, so we thought, okay, we need new startups, okay. So we approached new entrepreneurs. So we started.
You approached them?
Yeah, we went to places that we thought maybe where are they?
Where?
Where
Give
are
me
they
an
located?
Example. Where are they located?
In shared spaces and accelerators, and we try to approach places to.
Okay, so what did you do there? Like, did you go, hey, do you need design?
Yeah, we're a design studio. If you think you have new startups or entrepreneurs that need some help.
So you went to the owner of the
but it doesn't matter.
Space, or
with this request, you have to attach something that you do. If this what you attach is not good, it won't give you.
Yeah, obviously. But I think it's interesting because
this is what leads the studio, the quality of the products.
Of course.
And this what goes in the social media and goes to the design community here, and that appreciate the work that we do. And this goes around because with marketing you can't know. You just throw your ships and you don't know what comes down back.
Do you have clients that come to you that have this conversation like either you're too expensive or that other studios do it for less, or do you have that kind of discussion with your clients? Or what's different about you than other, like, do you get this?
We are not expensive, but for entrepreneurs, they don't always know what's the price level that is customed.
What do you mean we're not expensive?
Our quality that we deliver is the highest in Israel. We know that, and we know that there are places and even freelancers that take much more than what we.
Is that like a strategy not to be expensive, or?
I don't know. It works well.
Let's talk about this. Are you comfortable talking about how you price, or like how do you think about pricing specifically?
We work hourly.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is an approach which is different, maybe.
For sure.
What we want to do is lower the barriers between the client and us. Okay. So I don't want to say, okay, this is the price of the project, and let's go, and then there's this game of push and pull. Okay, the client always thinks that you're not giving all the effort. Okay,
right,
which is true. In this type of project, you try to do things much more quicker. Okay. Because you don't know, you have a budget and you need to hit it lower, right?
Right.
So even though you have this, 200 hours, okay, and you have these steps, and you're always afraid of what will happen in the future. Right. Maybe this stage will go smooth, but later the client will give 1,000 of comments and will be much more complicated. So always keep your hours, right? Your effort.
Right.
And some studios just take ready stuff and try to.
But it's the other way around with pricing hourly. The motivation will change. The client will want you to work as less as possible, so it'll be cheaper. Your motivation now is to do as many hours as possible. So you might, it gives you either the motivation to work slower or just take your time.
In either way, the understanding that one side need to put confidence in the other one stays the same.
Right.
Okay. Everyone can download the ready logo and hand it to the client and say that they did it, and everyone can say that we worked this amount of hours, but they didn't. So it doesn't matter if you have confidence in both sides. So this is the basis for the contract.
So you tell your clients, this is our hourly rate. I estimate this will be around this and this hour, so you can expect that. Maybe it'll be less. Maybe if there will be complication, there'll be more. And
at that point, us and the client are on the same side. We are in the same side of the table, and we look at the budget and the challenges, and we decide together what we'll do in each time. We have different.
Is the hourly rate depending on? Is it fixed for all clients, or is it depending on the client in terms of this client has specific needs? He does need an animator, no animator, UX, not UX.
In my understanding, I didn't want this. Usually, when you price by project, this amount that you finish the project before your budget, this is what you earn. Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes, okay.
Or
sometimes you lose, sometimes you win.
You can determine your profitability, because if you work faster, you're more profitable.
So I say I don't want this part. Okay.
Okay.
But just give me the hours that I work at. Okay. I don't want to lose.
But you calculate your profit. You calculate your profit into that hourly rate, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. So you basically, if we look at this from a business perspective, you say, I want to earn this percentage, let's say, of profit. Mm-hmm. So I'll just calculate it into my hourly rate and make sure that I have enough billable hourly rate per month or something like that.
Yeah. And I got the confidence that I was paid for the work effort that I'm doing. Okay. Yeah. So I was confident in this fear of clients and everything. I was confident because sometimes you do a project and you don't know when you're gonna get paid, and if you're gonna get paid, if you're gonna get the profit or not. And this each hour that goes here, the designer work for a client, I know it's covered. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Do you take like fixed salary as well?
What do you mean? For the designers?
No, you're the owner of the studio. Okay. Do you take like a fixed salary for yourself as CEO, or you just have the profits and then you can take how do you handle that?
Yeah, I take, but it's really it's technical.
It's an interesting question for me, because I used to be like, maybe it's because I was a freelancer, but maybe it was a state of mind. I was like, everything that's left is my profits. Now I moved into like registering a company and changed that mentality into I need a fixed income. Everything that's profit above my like salary is profit in the business, and I can invest that in the business to grow the business or whatever. So even if I earn much more, I don't take home much more. And that was kind of, maybe it's a personal question, but I wanted to know. Like,
no, but when it's a one-man company, I mean, not show, but so it's just a text aspect.
Yeah, but what I wanted to know, I think, was that, like, do you personally, like, if your company grows, do you make more money, or is it just fixed for you? How do you see that?
For now, it's fixed because I know that everything is left is in the company.
Right.
But it's for investing. It's for the ensuring the next month if we had a bad month, or expecting the worst cases. So this is really important to keep this level of.
So you have an amazing space. People on YouTube will see this, but like, how did you? At what point you said I'm going to make this step into like hiring and renovating its space, and like, because for me as a person, it sounds like really scary because it's an investment. It's a huge investment. No. Like financially, and also taking like the responsibility. I'm in a shared. Personally, I'm in a shared office space, so I can say next month, you know what? I don't have to take this space. I can get rid of this like financial liability. But you took a space. You've put in some money to renovate it. Was that scary or?
Yeah, I assume. But after you make a decision, you forget about it. But I really wanted a unique place for me, for the designers, for the clients. I see it as something else, as a studio that is something else from the rest. We could have take a place, an office, a regular office, maybe in the half price that we pay here. But it's a studio. It needs to be unique. It needs to look like a studio. It's not, I don't know. It's not.
Do your clients come here? Is this like your clients, or you go to your clients?
Yeah, and they really like to come here.
Yeah, I know. I can understand why.
Yeah, and this is the base of creativity. I really believe in team and creating the place for the team to create. And I said before, work with organic team. And promote the designers, promote the level of the studio, and not work remote. Even if we work with the freelancer, I really try to bring them to work here. It's something that I really tend to do.
Let's talk about off now, because I think this is huge, like what you and your partner Leary were able to do. So can you share how that happened? Again, for people who don't know, OFF is a huge festival that happens in multiple locations around the world. Started in Barcelona, and you decided to start it in Tel Aviv, which you've done for how many years now?
We're going to have the third year now.
Third year. And it's growing every year, and it's been successful.
Yeah.
What was the thinking behind doing that, and how did that happen?
As I mentioned before, we had this understanding, me and Leary, that we want to do something, and after doing it in the social political aspect, we want to do something to the community of the designers, and we have this understanding in Israel that design is choosing the closet of your kitchen, or this word of design is taken in Israel for other fields, and we wanted to bring up the visual design umbrella that covers so many professions and aspects, and promote the Israeli design. And we saw so many technological events in Israel, and a lot of respect for the tech industry in Israel. The second Silicon Valley and etc. But there's no technological aspect of startup without design. Okay. And I see design as something much more than how it looks, of course.
So you did that because you wanted to impact the local culture in a sense?
Yeah.
But I know from running small events that it's a hell of, so much work goes into that.
Well, it's it's not a conference, it's a festival. It's much more complex than getting a mic and a stage and.
So it sounds like a huge undertaking, and that happened at the same time that you were starting your company.
It's like having twins.
Yeah, how can you? Were you ever thinking about this in terms of, this has to pay back, or there's nothing, there's financials involved into that? Are you making money off it? I'm sorry if it's personal.
I don't think I have a financial thinking too much when I start this studio, because I can work in a startup company and get much more.
Okay.
At that time, okay.
Right.
So you do what you believe in, what you want. Same as a studio,
but
and same with the.
I don't know how about you, but I still have to pay the rent. You still have to make enough money to survive, right? And if you're working half your time at doing an event for free and not making any money, I don't know.
So that's the understanding that the festival. Well, the first year was much less hassle than later on, because first year was 600 people. But we did, and we also first year the studio did the branding of this edition.
So you paid yourself, like the festival paid your studio?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But it was like really, סמלי, איך אומרים?
Yeah. Low price, low budget, symbolic price.
Symbolic. Yeah. I knew that it will take some effort once it, we realized it happens. So I took an office manager before
for the studio or for the
the
festival?
studio before I maybe logically needed one.
Okay.
And
she also managed the stuff for the festival?
Something coming in.
She was also managing the stuff for the festival?
No, just.
Oh, so she was only doing the studio work?
Yeah, but this position, we changed the person in this position. But this position was about to handle the finance and the receipts and managing clients and a lot of work that in the first half a year I did everything alone.
Right.
So I knew I need to be free.
So you actually, so if I understand correctly, you hired basically somebody to take up some of your work in the studio, so they'll free you up some time, and using that time you've put efforts into doing the off festival.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was predicting what's going to be in the future, so I was prepared for that. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of meetings, even months and months before that, and in the last couple of months, sometimes
meetings with who, like
with the partners and sponsors and production company. It's a really big thing.
Yeah.
And
do you enjoy doing it?
It's like, it's really, I really believe it's having a huge impact.
It is,
on the local industry. It's something really, really strong that will. I really think it impacts a lot of designers and the community and the awareness of the other people for visual design.
I think a lot of people living in different countries around the world, at least I know from my YouTube channel, they always complain about my country doesn't value design. Either I don't live in Western Europe, or so nobody cares about design. And I think that you kind of had the same feeling about Israel, but you were saying like, what can I do to change this? And thinking that maybe bringing in an international festival can do that. Mm-hmm. Is that how you feel, or can you talk about that?
I felt that we need to give this, because there are some designers that go around the world and go to these conferences and festivals. Maybe they've been sent by their companies, but a lot of the students or designers or a lot of the designers don't get to be exposed to this kind of event. And at that time, we had only conferences that are really narrow. This UX conference and gaming conference, and we wanted to unite everything in this approach of creativity. And I think it really empowers people as much as it empowers me. Okay, you get to understanding, that you're a designer. You're a designer. You can do everything. You do it for the clients. Okay, someone comes to the studio with this PowerPoint slideshow with this something in his head, and then you give it a name, you give it looks, and you design the product, and you create something, and then it's a company with 40 people that sells all around the world. You created something, so you can use this power to do whatever you want. And when I visited off Barcelona, the experience that you come to a place and you see people like you. I mean, when you come to off, it's people like you. It's young designers, the people that in the same level like you, and you see a lot of people like you, and it really empowers you. And the type of talks you have in off are different than other conferences. It's not that technological, but you learn so much of it. So it empowers me to understanding that I can do everything. Okay, so you just set up, you build a studio, and what I need to accomplish this. What do we do it every day for our clients, so it's really simple to do other stuff.
It sounds like you're doing this because obviously you're very passionate about this, and you're kind of like mission driven, and it's, based on the talk, you do a lot of volunteering, so you do a lot of things because you're passionate about contributing as a designer. But I wonder, like, did it had beneficial impact on your studio as well, do you think, because the studio is now a little bit associated with, do you think
it is associated, but it's really a big effort? I mean, imagine that.
I'm asking, like, was this, like, I'm not saying that you did not do it. It's not an investment in marketing, for example. It's not, but I'm asking, did it had like positive impact on your studio?
Well, no one can know. No one can know what the impact. I can say that the being involved in this project of off keeps me away from the studio, which is for a company or a business in the first couple of years is really not a good.
So it's actually hurting your growth.
As I see it hurts. And once I have this baby of off, I put all the efforts on it on this month. So it takes a lot of my time, which is in this couple of years I'm very important for the company, and I clients don't know what's off. Okay.
They don't care.
No, they don't know what is the off festival, so they don't come because they know that Nitsan is involved in off. The only thing that maybe affect the design community, but I think design community appreciate the studio because the project that we do.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
What we do in the social media and what we share about our project much more than doing off. So I can't really measure it, but I know that a lot of studios around the world are the entrepreneurs of conferences, but you can't measure it. I see also the bad things, but people maybe don't see. But it's something that we are really here in the studio proud of, and although in the everyday we don't deal with it, okay, because it's only me with Leary found dealing with the festival, but. We're really proud, and we share the same approach of this holistic visual design, the mixture of every aspect of the design in the studio as well as the off. If you have some similarities between these two initiatives, so
cool, man. I really thank you so much for this conversation. It's been really, really insightful. I think learning from how you've built this really, really great company that does amazing high quality work in this like incredible space while doing like managing essentially two businesses, because it's like running off every year. Is it taking like 50% of your time or less, or do you know? So that's
a couple of but I think that I do it in the evenings. And right now when you have this whole bunch of projects that are really complicated, and I'm really involved in every project and every movie that we make. So during the day, it's really hard for me to.
So it's actually a side project.
It's totally a side project. Yeah.
Incredible.
And the first year, I could do some talks and meetings during the studio. Right now, it's really painful for the studio when I'm away. So I tend to not hurt it and have this
amazing. Dude, congratulations on your success, and thank you very much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Bye-bye.
Bye.